Hello everyone, and welcome back to the channel. Today, we have a very exciting discussion lined up on an eco-friendly topic that's gaining traction, biogas. It's been touted as a sustainable and renewable energy source, but is it really all it's cracked up to be? Are there any disadvantages to it?
We're about to find out. I have a very special guest with me. Technologist Samuel, a renewable energy expert with a focus on biogas technology. Welcome to the show. It's so great to have you here.
Thank you for having me. I'm excited to be here and talk about biogas with you.
Let's dive right in. Before we get into the details, for those who might not be familiar with biogas, can you give us a quick explanation of what it is and how it's produced?
Of course. Biogas is a type of renewable energy that is produced through the anaerobic digestion process, where organic materials like agricultural waste, food scraps, and even sewage sludge are broken down by bacteria in an oxygen-free environment. This process results in a mixture of gases, primarily methane CH4 and carbon dioxide CO2. Methane is the key component because it's the flammable gas used as fuel. Biogas can be used for heating, electricity generation, and even as fuel for vehicles.
Sounds interesting. So, let's get into the good stuff. What are some of the main advantages of biogas?
Biogas has a number of significant advantages, especially when compared to conventional fossil fuels. First and foremost, it's a renewable resource. As long as we continue to generate organic waste, we can produce biogas. Unlike fossil fuels, which are finite, biogas can be produced sustainably over time.
That's definitely a plus in today's climate, where sustainability is so important. What else makes it stand out?
Another major benefit is its positive impact on the environment. Since biogas is produced from organic waste, it helps to reduce greenhouse gas emissions that would otherwise be released into the atmosphere through the decomposition of waste in landfills. Methane, for instance, is a powerful greenhouse gas, but capturing and using it for energy prevents it from contributing to climate change.
That's an important point, especially with the growing waste management issues around the world. Is there anything else that makes biogas so appealing?
Definitely. Biogas can help improve energy security, especially in rural or remote areas. Since it can be produced locally, it reduces the need for imported fuels and the dependency on centralized power grids. Also, when biogas is used for electricity generation or heating, it can help reduce energy costs for households and businesses.
So, biogas can be a real game changer, not only for the environment, but also for local economies. Are there any other benefits that might be lesser known?
Yes, absolutely. Biogas can be used in waste management and agriculture. The leftover residue from biogas production, called digestate, can be used as a high-quality fertilizer. This reduces the need for chemical fertilizers, which are often harmful to the environment. It's a great way to close the loop on waste and create a circular economy.
Now that we've heard all the great advantages of biogas, let's switch gears a little bit. Are there any real disadvantages to biogas that people should be aware of?
Great question. While biogas is definitely a great renewable energy source, it's not without its challenges. One of the main disadvantages is the initial investment required to set up biogas plants. These systems can be quite expensive to build, especially on a large scale, which can be a barrier for some communities or businesses.
That's something to consider, especially for small-scale operations or developing countries. Are there any operational challenges as well?
Yes, there are some operational challenges. For one, biogas production requires a consistent supply of organic waste, which can sometimes be unpredictable. If the feedstock isn't consistent, the biogas production can be irregular, affecting energy generation. Additionally, biogas plants need regular maintenance to keep the system running smoothly, which adds to the operational cost.
Now that we've heard all the great advantages of biogas, let's switch gears a little bit. Are there any real disadvantages to biogas that people should be aware of?
Great question. While biogas is definitely a great renewable energy source, it's not without its challenges. One of the main disadvantages is the initial investment required to set up biogas plants. These systems can be quite expensive to build, especially on a large scale, which can be a barrier for some communities or businesses.
That's something to consider, especially for small-scale operations or developing countries. Are there any operational challenges as well?
Great question. While biogas is definitely a great renewable energy source, it's not without its challenges. One of the main disadvantages is the initial investment required to set up biogas plants. These systems can be quite expensive to build, especially on a large scale, which can be a barrier for some communities or businesses.
That's something to consider, especially for small-scale operations or developing countries. Are there any operational challenges as well?
Yes, there are some operational challenges. For one, biogas production requires a consistent supply of organic waste, which can sometimes be unpredictable. If the feedstock isn't consistent, the biogas production can be irregular, affecting energy generation. Additionally, biogas plants need regular maintenance to keep the system running smoothly, which adds to the operational cost.
I see. So, even though the energy is renewable, there are some logistical hurdles. Are there any environmental concerns associated with biogas?
Interestingly, while biogas is considered environmentally friendly, there are some concerns regarding land use. To produce enough biogas, large quantities of organic material are needed, and in some cases, this can lead to land competition. For example, if large-scale biogas operations rely on crops like maize or corn as feedstock, it could drive up demand for land that would otherwise be used for food production. This is especially a concern if biogas production is scaled up significantly.
That makes sense. It's a balance between energy needs and food security. Are there any other disadvantages or myths that we should address?
One other myth is that biogas is a perfect solution to all energy and waste issues. While it's true that it can help address both, it's not a silver bullet. For example, biogas production is not entirely carbon neutral. The transportation of waste to plants and the energy required to run them can still contribute to emissions. Also, if the biogas is not captured properly, it can leak methane into the atmosphere, which is a potent greenhouse gas.
So, while biogas certainly isn't without its flaws, it seems like the future of biogas could still be promising. Where do you see the industry heading in the next few years?
I'm really optimistic about the future of biogas. With advances in technology, we're seeing improvements in the efficiency and affordability of biogas systems. For instance, biogas production from food waste and even algae is showing great promise. As awareness about renewable energy grows and governments continue to support cleaner energy solutions, we'll likely see more investment in biogas research and development, making it more accessible and cost-effective.
That's great to hear. So, in the coming years, we could see biogas becoming an even bigger part of the renewable energy mix?
That's great to hear. So, in the coming years, we could see biogas becoming an even bigger part of the renewable energy mix.
Absolutely! With better technology and more sustainable practices, biogas could play a vital role in the global transition to renewable energy. It's already helping reduce waste and provide clean energy in many places, and it has the potential to do much more. Well, that's all the time we have today. Thank you so much for sharing your insights on biogas with us. It's clear that while biogas has its challenges, it's a promising energy solution with a lot of potential. If you enjoyed today's conversation, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the bell for more interviews and discussions on sustainable energy. And, as always, leave us a comment with your thoughts or questions for technologist Samuel.
Thank you again for having me. It was a pleasure to be here. I hope the discussion helps people understand more about the role biogas can play in a sustainable future.